In episode 6 of The Last of Us, we saw Joel get stabbed and fall off the horse unconscious. Based on where we are at in the season, we think that he is going to be alright. However, even after he recovers from his stab wound, it seems like there is one condition that won't be going away, and it could change the course of the season. In this video we are going to break down Joel's health issues, analyze what is affecting him, and discuss what that means going forward. Let's jump right into it, starting with Number 1. Joel's episodes. During episode 6, there were multiple times when Joel absolutely froze, lost his breath, hunched over, and couldn't do anything. At one point, Ellie even thought he was having a heart attack. These episodes have an important significance going forward. We think it is important to point out when this happens so we can understand what is going on. The first time Joel freezes up and starts breathing heavily happens right outside of the cabin, after talking to the older couple. Next, the second time he has an episode is when the dog who smells cordyceps starts sniffing at Ellie. Then, the third time we see Joel start to freeze up is in Jackson, when he walks out of the bar after talking with Tommy. The fact that this issue continued to pop up means that it is likely not going to go away, and they will likely have an important impact going forward. When these episodes occurred can also tell us a lot. With that being said, let's turn to our next takeaway. Number 2. The source of Joel's condition. Judging by when the episodes happen, there seems to be a common pattern. His first episode happens right after they walk outside of the couple's cabin at the beginning of the episode. It's important because just before he freezes, the couple warns him never to go past the river because they could die. Ellie tells the woman that they aren't going to scare her, but the woman points out that she scared Joel. So the fact that Joel has this episode right after being scared says something important. The second time happens in a very similar, but worse situation, as the group released the dog to smell Ellie to make sure she wasn't infected. Joel was concerned that the dog was going to smell the cordyceps fungus on her. If it had, it would have attacked and killed her right then and there. And although Ellie isn't technically infected, she has been bit twice. So once again, it makes sense that Joel was very afraid. The third time he freezes is a little different, but still connected to what is happening. When he freezes up the third time, it happens because he sees a girl that looks like Sarah, which reminds him of yet another time when he had to lose someone. We get a bit more confirmation of what is going on in a later conversation to Tommy. When talking to him in the shed, Joel confesses that in those moments, he was very afraid. He says to him that the fear comes up out of nowhere, and his heart feels like it is stopped. Based on what he says and when these episodes happen, they seem like panic attacks from anxiety. However, we learn even more hearing from the show creators. This brings us to our third and most revealing takeaway. Number 3. Joel's condition confirmed. In an interview about episode 6 on The Last of Us podcast, show creators Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin went into more detail about Joel's condition, explaining what is going on. Druckmann confirmed exactly what Joel is facing. He says, quote, "What's happening is Joel is having a panic attack and he doesn't know why. It's your body telling you that you're in terrible danger but you don't understand why." This episode is about Joel coming to terms with how terrified he is that she's going to die and it's going to be his fault. Based on Druckmann's analysis, it is clear that Joel's fear of danger is consuming him. However, there is more there too. Panic attacks are also a real strong symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, which happens after you experience a traumatic event and the brain struggles to process it. Joel having PTSD certainly makes sense, as he has experienced plenty of loss in his life. That would be hard to process. From his daughter Sarah, to Tess, to Bill and Frank, to Sam and Henry. After episode 5, we wondered what the effects of Henry and Sam's death on Joel and Ellie would be, and now we have part of our answer. Their death was a reminder to Joel that he and Ellie could see the same fate. He clearly fears that something could happen to him or that he could fail as a protector to Ellie. And all of that came to the surface in episode 6. Plus, this condition goes to show that Joel is still human and that he has a weakness just like anyone else. Above everything, this condition has another powerful message. No matter how strong someone appears on the outside, you never know what they are battling on the inside, and what the consequences are of the things they've seen. And that battle is often not easy. This brings us to our fourth and final takeaway. Number 4. Joel won't be the same. As the series winds down to its final few episodes, we'll be curious to see what impact Joel's condition could have on Joel and Ellie's journey. We have seen that Joel still has plenty of ability to stay strong and fight attackers. Outside of the medical building, Joel is still able to fight off the raider that attacks him with the baseball bat. Although he gets stabbed by the broken bat, it isn't exactly because of his PTSD. However, there is always the possibility that Joel could freeze up in a dangerous situation in the future. We can also imagine that him getting attacked from behind, and not being able to hear the attacker, will only add to what he is experiencing. After all, he told Tommy earlier that it is getting harder for him to hear and that he felt bad that Ellie had to intervene back in Kansas City. Joel is already afraid that he won't be able to do enough to save Ellie, so getting stabbed will likely only scare him more. And if he continues to freeze up from panic attacks, it could only make it even more difficult to protect her. The other question is, if this is how Henry and Sam's death affects Joel, then how will it affect Ellie? After all, Ellie has experienced plenty of loss in her life as well. Fortunately, it looks like we will get to learn a little bit more about that in the next episode since the teaser shows her with her friend Riley. Episode 7 releases on Sunday, February 26th. And we will be here to break it down when it does. So there we have it, a full picture of the underlying issue affecting Joel. So, tell us what you think. How do you think Joel's PTSD will affect the journey? Do you think he will be able to power through it? Or do you think that it will play a role in what happens moving forward? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any more in-depth analysis, breakdowns, and recaps surrounding The Last of Us and more of the hottest shows and movies right now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.